that wants everybody locked up, that wants a cop at every corner, that wants to march people to church at gunpoint. And frankly, it's America's right that wants to seize all the weapons. Because the gun legislation, we had an assault weapons ban. What year did the assault weapons ban end?
I don't think
Can
it
you
has.
tell me? It ended in 2005. We have only had assault weapons available, other than grandfathered. We have only had them available for 7 years. I mean, I've had to turn barrels here on a lathe to put on a flash suppressor because an AR-15 couldn't have a flash suppressor on it, which is really a dangerous thing. Because they don't suppress flash very well. They do help protect the end of the barrel, because you can screw it, drop the weapon, you can certainly unscrew it and replace it with another $9 flash suppressor, but they were illegal. I look at high-point firearms, which made here in Ohio. They're still made with 10-round clips. Now, I have no problem carrying, I carry a 45. I carry a 45 7+1. I don't need to shoot somebody 22 times. 145 in the forehead is enough for pretty much anybody. I don't remember angering more than 8 people at a time, you know. And frankly, the other point is that the idea we shouldn't be obsessing about shooting each other, you know. I really don't feel threatened to that degree. I have feelings about our government, but this is the problem we have is that we do need some accurate information. Let's take yesterday, this announcement, supposedly an announcement by Eric Holder that the president has the right to use drones to run around the United States randomly killing people. If you read the real announcement, it said that the president has the right to order a drone strike against an American citizen actively involved in a national threat, attempting a terrorist attack inside America. And of course, the chief law enforcement officer of the United States has had the right to use any weapon of any kind, and I've got a no longer valid, we call it a warrant card, and it says the right to use deadly force in the protection of person and property. That's what a warrant is. Everybody that carries a badge has a warrant card. Every law enforcement officer, up to and including the President of the United States, is technically a cop. They have the right to use deadly force to protect persons and property. Now, one of the problems with that is there has to be broad accountability, since we have police that run around and just randomly shoot people, for pulling out mobile phones, and they get their hands slapped for it, or hosed down with deadly chemicals. Protesters, we have long had these problems. We've had the states lynch labor leaders. We've had the National Guard used against civil rights activists. We've had police departments used to suppress the vote. So we haven't. What democracy we have in the U.S. we've had to fight to keep. We've had to fight to get it. The Constitution didn't give us democracy. Only 5% of Americans could vote after the Constitution was accepted in 1787. And frankly, now we apparently, Clayton, we have the right to vote for the idiot that others choose for us. In this case, we've seen in the beginning of the second term, I've seen a president start to do his job. We have a Secretary of Defense who kicks butt, and totally behind him. I had a useful talk with the leadership of the United States Marine Corps, who made it very clear that the United States Marine Corps will not participate in any unconstitutional act And if any aspect of government attempts to move against the American people, the Marine Corps and its leadership will interfere. We hope the Army is the same. Now, the leadership of the military has not been all that dependable. This is one of the things that I respect about the Military Religious Freedom Foundation and Mikey Weinstein. We had the military service academies infiltrated by religious extremists decades ago, and many of the people who are currently being removed from the military command structure, and rightly so, are crazy people who are trying to bring on nuclear war so that the apocalypse can arrive and that they can enjoy the rapture and watch the planet destroyed. I don't think people should be running our military or handling nuclear weapons who want the United States destroyed. It is inconsistent with what we pay them for. So I'd even call it treasonous. And we have a lot of those people around.
I would like to bring that up. I would like to interrupt you just a moment, Gordon, because what I've said, this whole dual citizenship, if somebody owes their loyalty to a foreign country and they are doing things, whether it's espionage or insider trading, to benefit that country, another country besides this one, they're guilty of treason. And I think we've got the wrong people in jail. I think we need to release anybody that's been put in jail. As Ayn Rand said, the government has no power over honest citizens, so they got to make criminals out of us.
Well, let's say this: people I would lock up. I have at least 4 Supreme Court justices. I'm giving John Roberts the benefit of the doubt right now. We have seen some flexibility in him, although I could explain what that is. I'm not going to do that because it's not confirmed and it's rumor mongering. But the existing justices that voted to overthrow the country in 2000 need to be imprisoned for treason. There's no question about that. We have 40 senators who tried to block the Hagel nomination. They all need to be in prison. Now, Hagel was being blocked because he was seen as an enemy of the state of Israel because he put the interests of the United States first. Now, I have no problem with Israel being a Jewish homeland. I just believe that there are 2 sides to the issue in Israel and that there needs to be a reasonable negotiated settlement between the Palestinians that is in line with existing UN resolution, and that if the Jews in Israel need to be made secure, and the U.S. has to play a role in that, I think it's unrealistic to go against that. The however I have is that if Hegel is such a Jew hater, then why did every single member of Congress, every Jew in Congress supported him? Excuse me, I'm sneezing here.
That's all right.
I'm doing this. I'm cleaning the dust out of my keyboard. I could make another cat out of it. There's so much of it. But if Hegel is such an enemy of the Jews, every Jew in Congress supported him. But the Republican Party, what is wrong with these people? Get on board. This is the United States. Lindsey Graham, get on board. Or get the hell out of Congress. We have no need from you. I would like to also find out exactly who Rand Paul is. He's busy running for president. Now, his father tried to become from what had been the lone voice of sanity in America's government, had become a blithering idiot when he decided to run for president. But I'd like to know who Rand Paul is, because Rand Paul is He's quacking like a duck, but appears to slither like a snake. And I just want to know who he is.
Well, I have problems with both parties. I call them two wings of the same bird, and I don't feel like any of the representatives up there that voted for the Patriot Act or any of the other unconstitutional military bills and everything. I don't think they're doing our good, and why did we get them in the first place? Because the Jewish-controlled media only let us choose from people that we didn't hear from Gary Johnson. We didn't hear from the Libertarian candidates. We didn't hear who would have supported us, what we've been saying on the decriminalization of drugs. Quit putting Americans in jail. We got more in jail than any other country out there, including Red China, for God's sake.
Well, here's what I'd like Americans to do right now is watch some television. And every time you see a Muslim terrorist bad guy in NCIS Los Angeles or whatever, and shows are changing, by the way, and they're becoming more correct, but I travel a lot in Islamic countries. I could pretty much tell you that if I were to put you down, here, what I could easily do. I could easily sit you down for dinner with leaders of the Taliban and a selected group of Israelis, and we may have to use translators. A lot of the Taliban don't speak really good English. Many of them do, however, I'll tell you. If we sat down together, everybody would sound like us. None of us like our government. They hate Karzai. We hate our government. The Israelis are not pleased with theirs. We're all managed by being lied to. We're all exactly the same people, and we're all being manipulated by this media circus to hate each other so that we live like animals. We're willing to kill each other, put each other in prison, starve and hate each other because we're being bred to do this by our overlords. We are slaves. All of us are slaves, including those who wrongly believe they're slave masters. Oh my heavens, the phone's ringing in the middle of the show here.
Yeah, sure. Actually, it's not in the middle of the show. We're running a little overtime here because this is so important. Why? You know, and I've tried to find answers to this. So, you know, if we got the Liberty Village was the best that I could think of. Take a square block, put gardens in the backyard, put solar on the roof, put wind power on the roof, quit buying the gasoline, start cutting their funds off. Now, but I don't want to. I don't want to disrupt anything. I don't want to have to kill anything. I think the problem we got is how do you fight evil without becoming evil, and I think we could do this by implementing just what you've talked about if I had the banking of anybody here. Go ahead.
Clayton, what I want is everything that's used in the United States, I want made in the United States. I want Americans.
Absolutely.
I don't care if we all have to go back to work in 10 hours a day. I want us all back to work building things. Building the things we use. I want all of it made here. I don't care if it's a 25-cent plastic toy. I want it made in the United States. I want every part of my car. Oh, heaven forbid. I've got my car in my driveway. I looked at the manufacturing tag on it. It's made in Hungary. My car was made in Hungary.
Now, I agree with that, and one of the things that I put up on my website that ties in with this, and this is all going in the books that I'm going to finish this year, and I'll have them released probably by the middle of the year, about this future segment of society. And one of the pieces of technology I'm putting in it is the 3D printer, because I foresee that you could set these 3D printers up in your garage and produce any product that we wanted to, made in America. As a matter of fact, the end of Made in China is the link to that story, and with as much information as I can get for you without having to subscribe to somebody else's magazine.
Well, I'm sorry we've gone over time, because I have so much fun doing this with you, Clayton.
I enjoy the hell out of talking to somebody that's rational, that isn't insane, and you can worship any religion you want. You want to hug a tree, no problem. I got some splinters here.
Hey, you understand? I am an owl saver, tree hugger. I don't even hunt. I don't shoot animals. Now I do eat them. I don't even target shoot. I spend years training people to shoot. I'm a gun restoration. I'm the strongest weapon ownership advocate there is, because and I own as many. It's getting hard to find American-built weapons now, and I find that very, very disappointing. But gun ownership is a matter of American pride. I don't think it's an extremist activity. I live in a town full of people who may not agree with my politics, who own assault rifles, and none of them leave me the least bit ill at ease.
I've always felt comfortable in a campground full of bikers all wearing weapons. I feel really safe in gun shows. I don't, and this whole gun-free zones, though, that disturbed me. That's part of the anytime a communist regime takes over, they go after the guns. I've got the stats. How many millions of people have been killed after they gave up their guns? We're not giving up our guns in America. Are they going to try to take it from us, or are they going to try to pass a law? Go ahead.
Everybody wants to talk about political theory, and not too many people have much of an education in that area. I happen to have one of those educations. And I can tell you what a neocon is. A neocon is a Bolshevik. And all of the neocons, starting with Pearl and Wolfowitz, when they went through college, were members of the Communist Party. All of the people who supported Bush and put together the neocon revolution, the totalitarian revolution, the people who sat down and planned 9/11, who wrote the Patriot Acts, they were all Bolsheviks. The right is the communist Bolshevik right. Now, we may have the left may have socialists in it, but the right are Bolsheviks. What we are extremely lacking here are freedom-loving Americans, because no one seems to remember what freedom actually is.
Well, you know what? That's what I've always said, Gordon. I don't want to be the only free American out there. That's what we all should be. That's where we all should be going here.
And I plug for veterans today. I'll put in a plug for you. I'm a strong supporter of Clay Douglas. Is one of the most outspoken people in the United States, and who has his head on straight. And veterans today, you can come there, and I'll tell you, if you're looking for one point of view, you're going to be very disappointed, or one color, or anything else, because any writer qualified to write for Veterans Day, the largest news service in the world today, you're not going to see it. Well, we don't have a policy. We don't have one.
I'm going to be expanding on what we've talked about today. I'm going to be putting it in an article. I'll be doing that this week. And this show, I'll send you links to this show. It's up on YouTube. It needs to go viral, because we need our veterans. We are the, they said that the Vietnam Vets Motorcycle Club was the most well-armed paramilitary group out there. No shit, Sherlock.
Well, Vietnam vets, I'm one of those. I'm 64 years old. I still ride a motorcycle. And as far as participating, I don't know. If I were walking around Afghanistan with a Marine Rifle Squad, I think they'd get tired of carrying me around after a while, The time for me doing that might be at an end, but I still do a little backpacking. We'll put on a 60-pound pack and do maybe 5 or 6 miles a day, not 20. At that time, that time's gone. You and I are no longer kids, Clay.
Yeah, well, even when I was in the Army, I was usually the last one in. Asthma had me really screwed up until I was about 22. And
oh, hey, I'm an asthma sufferer.
Oh, yeah?
I had an asthma attack. We're on Operation Defiance Stand, probably about 20 miles south of Hoi An. We were surrounded by NVA, and I was scared. You know the term we're going to use. Well, it was well over 100 degrees also, and I had an asthma attack. I remember that very well, thinking how inconvenient that was, not being able to breathe when I was when everyone else was fleeing.
Well,
Marines do run, but if you're a Marine, when we run in the same direction, and we still have our weapons when we stop.
All right. By the way, I'm putting up a request here. I'm looking for people that can help on the internet. I will start writing again for Veterans Today. I would like to get this. If nothing else, I've got the blog talk radio for the Free American Hour. If you could get that up on Veterans Today somewhere like they just did on 1260. I would really appreciate that. I've got it. We can pull it right off of my site. I can pull that up and send it to you.
You actually have a columnist login along with all of our African Americans. Certainly our Jews, our Israelis. I've got a bunch of those now, and we've got you. You know, and then there's me, of course, the most hated person by the Anti-Defamation League.
I thought I was. I'm really now I'm really upset here. I thought Morris D's and Abe Fox, but Abe Fox.
They hate you.
Huh?
I've got 4 times as many pages describing me as an insidious anti-whatever propagandist.
God, I knew there was something I liked about you, Gordon. I mean, is that what they call truth tellers now? Is that what they call truth tellers?
Hey, here's a classic one for you, Abe Foxman. Go onto your website. Go to Alexa. That's how you internet traffic. And check who has internet traffic, ADL.org or veteranstoday.com. You will find that I have 100 times the internet traffic you do. So if you think you can go after me, and I do about 25 hours of radio a month, and I have between 40 and 60 million readers, and I have a heck of a lot of people that see me on TV, and of course who read me on the Press TV website, which has 100 million readers. So,
all right. What about press? Can we get this? This show is recorded, at least on for YouTube. Can we get that on Press TV?
Press TV does not do YouTube's. They don't even do URLs. And I don't think I need to plug Press TV. It's Iranian National Network. I write for Press TV, as do many of the people at Veterans Today. They will publish articles of yours if you submit them, and I can aid you with doing that.
Okay.
But they will do so. I find them a good news source, more reliable than, not a perfect news source. I say trust no one. We don't trust anybody blindly. But you will see more free press on Press TV in Iran than you'll find in anywhere in the U.S. And so I support what they do because I am against censorship. The attempts to censor Press TV, to block what they have to say, is because it's not because they're lying, I'll tell you that. So you want to find some freedom of speech, you have to go to Iran to do it.
And it was the Russians that finally got tired of their communist regime and started kicking their Jewish monarchs out.
Well, you still got quite a few there. The individual actually that I'm here chatting with is Vladimir Putin's nephew.
Tell him I said hello, and send some of those Russian women this way, would you?
I could have probably brought him on, and we could have done this in Russian or German. The English is quite terrible.
Oh, well,
but,
you might, listen, you might have Jim Fetzer and any of the other people that write for you. I got Mike Harris, I bet he's doing his own radio show. And so I'm probably going to get on him. John Stadmiller wouldn't let me on his, he said he was booked up, so Mike's got shows on RBM. Occasionally I do one for Jack McLam, so.
Well, I actually have Fetzer and Harris on Skype with me right now.
Well, tell them to both call me and pick a day. It's up on my website, the days that are open. I just opened up, started adding next week. So tell them to give me a call and let me have both of them on. We really, you know, right now, I think if we don't, the people with common sense don't work together. I've known a lot of smart kids that had no common sense at all when I was in school. If we don't work together, you know, they intend to hang us alone. We mentioned Russia a few times, and when the Bolsheviks took over Russia, that's when they started killing people, and you got 60 million people, and they've already killed more Americans than that if you want to toss in abortion. But
and of course, you and I disagree on that. I'm an abortion rights person. You know, I wonder why is it that people want, the same people who want to, I'm not picking on you here. But,
no, I don't care. I don't mind. Yeah.
There are many people who are anti-abortion but want to throw everybody in jail and then execute them.
That's exactly right. I mean, it's still your body. I mean, preferably, I mean, I think if somebody really wants an abortion, that they, you know, they could make it retroactive or something. I don't know.
Well, what I'd like to, and what I think we need to continue to speak for, are the rights of the convicted felons in the U.S., that they are human beings, and that any of you out there who are not convicted felons, if there's anybody left, by the way, let's be clear about that, and I'm not sure that there's any American that's not a convicted felon. I have one friend who just got out of prison a while ago. He's a former UN ambassador. He's a former congressman. And he just got out of prison. I've got at least 7 writers on Veterans Today on the terror watch list. I've got a couple of people who are in hiding. I have one person who was arrested a week ago who was a candidate for Deputy Prime Minister of Britain, and he was arrested. Anybody in this world, if you aren't under threat of some kind, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. If someone's not trying to silence you, I want to know why. Because if they're not trying to silence you, you're not saying the right thing.
All right. Well, I qualify.
Say the big thing. It's that we all say it to each other, and eventually we get in a room together, a great big room, and we take back our country, our world, and take back control of our own lives.
That's my plans about it. I wrote a book about it 45 years ago. It'll be out this year, and I'll be giving you updates on it on Veterans Today from now on. Thank you for being with me, Gordon Duff, freeamerican.com. veteranstoday.com, and God bless you. You're doing the right thing. You're doing the good work, and I appreciate it. And I'm glad to have you on my show and be working with you.
Thank you, Clay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.